I had the chance in 2010. I looked at my year and I had over 1,400 meetings. And every meeting I was being introduced to somebody that was significant. And they introduced me to somebody that they had in their lives that they thought were in a crisis. And they never said that, but they always told me, Peter, you got to meet this person. And I'd meet people that I was told could be committing suicide tonight. And you can imagine that kind of stress when people want you to meet somebody and you're seeing what's going on in them without them saying anything. But I also wanted, you can't be fake. I could never have sat down and said, I could probably promise you the moon. I couldn't do that. But I always said, what's really going on? Who are you? And what can I do to help you? And people would always start, and they start about business. Oh, this business I created. One person said that their family is actually losing their home because of the money they put into his business. And he couldn't do anything to help them. And I was forced in this opportunity. How do you help somebody? You don't even really know them, but they need something this moment. And what I really realized was that, again, there's got to be there's got to be love. And what I realized, if I can create an opportunity where somebody can speak to somebody they're dreaming about, not only can I create an opportunity for you to have a conversation about who you really are and why this person should be in your life, but I also realized that at that moment, I wasn't the one telling them that they were stupid and dumb and their business wasn't going to work. And I realized I'm not that smart. I could never, even when I thought I was really good on something, I could never be the person to say that. Because if I did, and they went the wrong way based on something I'm telling them, they're in trouble. So I had to validate everything I was going to say because their lives depended on it. So this is something I realized. I could not find out, based on the businesses and people I was meeting, I couldn't understand what their vision and mission was. And actually, in a crisis situation, when you sit with a board or executives, they will never, you ask them, why did you create this? They all have different ideas of why it was created. And the mission doesn't mean anything to them. It's a reason why they're in trouble. So I realized that most people don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. And I could never, again, when I think back in regards to who are these people, I could never even say who they are or what they're doing to be able to even introduce them to anybody. And I found out that perception is the number one issue we all deal with every day. I'm telling you, if there's one thing you came out of this day with, if you put perception as the number one thing on your agenda, and every time you meet somebody who says, can I ask you a question? What's your perception of me? And they're going to say, what are you talking about? We're friends. Really? I do. Can I share my perception of you? I love you. I think you're amazing. I just want you to know that. Because I may not be there the next minute. There's a couple of things, and I kind of describe instant change. There's a thing called quarters. And I was speaking at a business school, and they asked me to look at a social psychology thing that was going on. And they had kids aged 5 to 11 years old. And all they did ask the kids to do was draw a picture of 25 cents. And when the kids were done, some kids drew it the size of an orange. Some drew it the size of a dime. So then they were saying, why are they so different? Well, the kids that were poor, it was very significant. And the kids who came from rich, it didn't mean anything. So 25 cents, it wasn't 25 cents to a child. So if you ask somebody, if you say that you've got a marketing company, what does that mean? What's your perception of what does that mean? We're not even on the same plate. So even when you think people understand who you are, they don't. That's why the first thing you've got to ask is perception. Do you understand why I'm here? Do you understand what I do? Because I'll tell you why I'm here and why I was asked to be here, right? It's very different. When I heard about, at the age 5 or 6, you can tell if a child's ever going to get out of high school because of the number of words that these kids know. The kids from the inner city hear different words. They also hear words like fatty, hey dummy, hey stupid. That changed me. A friend of mine, head of Department of Sections for Texas, told me that they go into schools when the kids are 11 years old. He said, we do that because we want to find out who the kids are, the bad kids. so we can just determine how many of those kids, or how many beds we're going to need when these kids are 15, 16 years old. So we're wiping out a generation of kids because somebody thinks that they're bad. A friend of mine was in Russia, and he said when we talk to young kids, and especially the women, he said we asked them at this age, we're 14 to 16, what's your dream job? You know the number one question was? Prostitution. That was their dream, because they thought it was an opportunity to create a relationship that might give them some money but get them out of the country. I've been helping with a woman that's going to be a future prime minister of Bangladesh, and I've been mentoring her for 5 years. And I said to her, we were talking about instant change. She said, Peter, in our language you have no word for change. It does not exist. But she said, my biggest fear is people stop dreaming. And I've met people, I've met kids in America. When I asked them, if you woke up tomorrow with $10 million in your bank account, it was just given to you, whatever you could do, what would you do? They couldn't even start thinking about what that would mean. Some of them don't even have dreams of where they want to be 5 years from now. This is in America. People tell me there's people in the world that dream about being homeless in America. That's their dream. You know, yet people here don't even think about it.